Good morning, everybody. Thank you very much for being here today. Very happy to be in Busan, first time. Let's talk about Chiliz and So시오스닷컴. I don't know how many of you are familiar with Chiliz and the Chiliz token, but our company, a European company based in Malta, has been launching for the last 4 years and a half some of the most important brands in the world in the sports space. And the business of Chiliz is very simple. 99% of sports fans are not in a stadium, not in a city, and sometimes not even in the country of the team they are supporting. And we at Chiliz and So시오스닷컴, we decided to create an ecosystem based on blockchain in order to engage and monetize sports fans all over the world. So first we're going to talk about Chiliz, which is the blockchain and the framework, and then we will talk a little bit more about So시os. Chiliz chain. So today we have a chain, the version 1.0, let's say, that is live for the last 3 years. And we are launching by the end of this year the Chiliz chain 2.0. The Chiliz chain 2.0 is a proof of authority chain where clubs, sports property, famous IP from the sports to entertainment space are going to become nodes and validators in that space. And the Chiliz chain is an EVM compatible chain, meaning that whatever code, smart contract you're doing on Solidity, either from Ethereum point of view or BNB, for example, you can translate it in the Chiliz chain. It's a curated chain. What does it mean? It means that the chain is designed to only let white-listed companies, providers, entities, issuing assets into the chain. The idea is to avoid as much as possible to have scams and fake IPs, so only the premium brands are going to be allowed to be onboarded in the Chiliz chain. We trying to separate a little bit more Chiliz and So시os. Historically, So시os is the main, let's say, utility provider of the Chiliz chain. But the more we're gonna grow this year, next year, and in the next 5 years, the more the Chiliz chain is gonna become, as we believe, one of the most mainstream chain in the world. We are not a DeFi company. We are not here to change the finance industry. We are more in the fandom industry, the entertainment industry, and we are the worldwide leader in the sports space. We are trying to become the chain that is as safe as possible for any corporate entity, and I'm gonna give you names in the next few slides, but we are working already with names like FC Barcelona, UFC, and Manchester City, and Arsenal, and all these big teams, and these are developing application through us on the Chiliz chain. And the role of the Chiliz token, which is a digital asset listed on Upbit since April 2020, the role of the Chiliz token is to become, or to move from, let's say, a transaction token, which it is today, into a governance token and a reward token in the Chiliz chain 2.0. To the point that sports property, entertainment company are going to be able to actually get rewarded thanks to the stacking into the Chiliz chain. We are going to invest significantly. To give a bit of an idea, Chiliz and So시os today, we are 300 employees full-time all over the world. We have 9 offices all over the world. And we are going to invest, and we're going to announce it soon, a minimum of $55 million of grants for developers that wants to work with Chiliz chain and with the most sports property, the biggest important sports property in the world. So by getting actually funds from us, you are not only being able to develop features and product and functionalities on Chiliz, but you're also able to have access to some of the biggest brands in the world. Let's talk a little bit about So시os and what we do, the basic of what we do, which are called fan tokens. For the last 3 years and a half, 4 years now, and I hope there are some Chili's token holders that were here in 2018, because actually Korea was part of the foundation of Chili's. I came before COVID, I think almost 20 times between 2018 and 2019, and Korea always has been a part of the heart of Chili's. And now, our vision is very simple. We want to change passive fan to active fans. What does it mean? It means that we think any fan in the world, in Korea, in Turkey, in Brazil, or anywhere else in the world, should have the same voice, should have the same power as a fan that someone that is in the country of the team they are supporting. And to achieve that, we decided to create a concept that we invented called fan tokens. Fan tokens are not NFTs, they are fungibles. Actually, fan tokens are tradable. They are even tradable sometimes on Upbit and some other platform outside of Korea. And the idea of you owning a token is to give you a voice, to give you a recognition that will give fans a power, benefits, perks, and much more. Today, we work already globally. We are a global entity that has offices almost everywhere. We have a very small operation here in Korea, but we hope to grow, and that's why I'm here today. But we work with more than we already have launched 60 fan tokens all over the world from 5 different sports. From the soccer, football, of course, rugby, esports. We have a lot of esports team, not in Korea, but outside of Korea, that plays League of Legends, that play a lot of different games. We have more than 80 US partners, more than 20 NBA teams, NFL teams, MLS, which is the soccer, UFC, Korean Zombie. I think we've seen a video 2 years ago of Korean Zombie talking about Chili's when we launched on Upbit. And again, we are the #1 in the world of this, to the point actually that I will show you a map where we have every single teams we are working with. When you own fan tokens, you go on the Socios app, you deposit $20 or equivalent, or you deposit your Chili's, and once you have your Chili's, you can trade them against these fan tokens. The reason we created this network of all of these sports teams in the world, it's because we believe that the fans of today and the fans of tomorrow are not anymore fans of one team and one sport. They are fans of multiple teams and multiple sports. So it is important for us to actually create a platform where you have every single sports team, every single sports property, because then fans can engage with all of them. We even have Leo Messi as an ambassador of Socio.com, powered by Chili's. So actually, he's the ambassador of the company. He's promoting our product, he's promoting our brand, he's helping us to promote that on his Instagram and social media. Maybe one day, I'm not guaranteeing that, one day we will try to bring him to Korea. But he is one of the brands that we are working with. And you know, in a blockchain space, it's very difficult to convince mainstream companies, it's very difficult to convince entertainment companies, it's very difficult to convince the corporation. Funny enough, at Chili's, we are probably the company that has the most partners all over the world. This is the map of all the teams we have today. I'm not even sure it's today, actually. I think it's a few weeks back, because next week I know we're going to announce a few more. But I'm going to move just 2 seconds here. But here you can see all the things we have in US, which are the teams we haven't launched yet. Sorry if I'm in the dark for now. And then you have in every single country, every single continent, the teams that we have launched, or that we are launching. We have much more coming up. As you can see in Korea, we don't have a lot. And that's one of the reasons we are here today. And my team and I are based here, and we're going to invest in Korea in order to develop this. But yes, we are this global company using blockchain in order to engage and monetize fan bases. We have 1.6 million users right now in our platform. Actually, as a blockchain, we are, of course, if you remove the top 5, top 10, we are probably the next biggest blockchain in terms of users. And this is just the beginning, because right now, we probably have reached only, or maybe less than 1% of the potential of the reach of users we are trying to achieve. Hopefully next year, if I'm lucky enough to come back here, I hope that this map will be much bigger and will have much more Korean and non-Korean brands. Now let's talk a little bit about some initiative that Socios is doing, powered by, of course, our token. But what do we do in the metaverse space, in the gaming space? And let's talk about some trends. We have one of the biggest space actually on Sandbox, and I know Sandbox is presenting in a couple of hours. Our friend Sébastien, French like me, is the CEO of Sandbox, and thanks to him, actually, 2 years ago, we bought a massive space where we're gonna build a stadium, where we're gonna build digital environment that will be powered by Chiliz, but also the fan tokens. For example, you could imagine that we will have, we recently, I don't know if there is a slide after, but we recently invested $100 million. Our company invested $100 million in FC Barcelona. It was the 1st of August. And now we are a shareholder of the company that is developing everything Metaverse, Web3, NFTs for Barcelona. We are a shareholder of that company. The reason I'm saying that is because we're going to use our Sandbox land in order to build, at some point, some initiative that will be only accessible for the Barcelona fan token holders. And that's the kind of initiative we want to develop. It's true with Sandbox, it's true with other partners we may have. As you know, for example, what the other entertainment company are doing, and the presentation before was about that. It's all about fandom and how you can engage with your fans globally. That's not about us. That's all the initiative that exists right now in the metaverse space. Again, not us, but that help this ecosystem to grow. We think we are the next generation dedicated to sports. And, you know, sports is an entertainment business. Actually, fans of entertainment are also fans of sports athlete and sports team. And we, as a company, are the leader in this sports environment. Let's just go. In 2019, I was here in Seoul. We created, it was the beginning a bit of Chiliz, and we were doing an event, and there was this French football player that is a little bit known here in Korea as well, called David Trezeguet. And French, from the French national team, and also Juventus back in the time. And he was with me presenting here in Korea, in an internet cafe in Seoul, about how we want to develop what we are doing. At that time, 27th of May 2019, I think we had only 5 or 6 teams that were signed in the Chiliz ecosystem. Now we have 150 in the world. We have the biggest brands in the world, and we delivered, let's say, what we started in 2018 and 2019 in Korea. That's a good and a bad memory for those who were here. 26th of July 2019, there was this Juventus match in the national stadium. I was there. It was very rainy, and we, as Socios and Chiliz, we were already in Korea promoting in the front of the stadium this event. And Chiliz was actually the official sponsor of that event. That was a good and a bad memory for those who remember the Ronaldo no-show, and that's why we're working with Messi, who is a proud ambassador of Chiliz and Socios. Of course, we have a great relationship with Hubbit. That's the reason we're here today. But the reason is also because we were listed on Hubbit in 2020. And we are very proud of that because Korea, as I said, has been part of our journey since 2018 and since 2019 and since 2020. We haven't been able to travel for the last 2 years in Korea, and today I'm happy to be here because that's just the beginning of the next journey for us as Chiliz. We're also starting to work with local teams here in Korea. We're working with the Pohang, I'm not sure how to pronounce, Pohang Steelers, as the first football team for us in Asia, or actually in Northeast Asia. Thanks to the fans in our app and in our platform, they were able actually to choose the design of the bus. The reason we are doing this is to give a voice to the fans. So I'm going to give you some examples we've done in the past. But for example, if you were a fan of Juventus, 2 years ago, you would have been able to choose the music in the stadium every time there is a goal in the stadium in Italy. So anybody in Korea, anybody in Vietnam, anybody in Brazil would have been able to vote thanks to their fan token to give and to have a voice anywhere in the world. And that's the potential of Chiliz and Socios, is having hundreds of millions of users in 10 years that will eventually, hopefully, being able to engage with their favorite teams in order to participate. You know, as you are crypto native for most of you, we talk a lot about DAO. What we do is a bit similar. We give not really a decentralized way, but we give a voice. We give power to these fans all over the world. And that's how we started Chiliz, and that's how we are building around that. And our job is to give more power to the fans globally. And Korea is a key part of that journey. We also created fan meetings where fan token holders, or in that case, Chiliz holders, were able to be invited in some VIP experiences. And interestingly, we do that all over the world. In 2022, we are giving, the season of 2022, we are giving away 17,000 tickets all over the world. Us, the blockchain company, is giving away 17,000 tickets all over the world, including the World Cup, because, again, we have 160 partners all over the world, and we are one of the biggest mainstream blockchain applications. As I said, we believe, or we always call Web 3.0 as a community. We think in our case that the community should be empowered, and we think that fans can be fan of K-pop, can be fan of sports team. We are focusing on the sports business. And as a fan of a sports business, you will have access now, tomorrow, and after tomorrow for more and more services and more features. And that's our journey, and hopefully that's your journey as well. Thank you very much for your time today. That was our presentation. If you have any questions, please, I'm here for a small session of Q&A.
Well, thank you very much, Alexandre Dreyfus. Now we'd like to take some questions from the floor. So I see the first question here, amazing footprint and straightforward vision. Are there any regulatory concerns for expanding in Korea?
That's the good question, actually. So yes, there are, in every country we are working with, there are always a regulatory, not necessarily concerns, but framework. And our job, because we work with the biggest teams in the world, is to ensure we do the things right. So in Korea, for example, So시오스닷컴 is not yet available because we are exploring how the regulatory framework is going to be compatible with our product and with our strategy. And that's what we are planning to launch next year.
Okay, thank you for the answer. We have another question for you. I will translate for you.
Thank you.
칠리즈와 소시오스에 대한 이야기 잘 들었습니다. 한국은 특히 스포츠 팬들이 많은 국가이기도 한데요. 한국 시장으로의 정식 출시 및 확장 계획이 있는지 궁금합니다. 추가적으로 다양한 국가에서의 라이센스 계약을 어떤 식으로 전개하시는지도 매우 궁금해요. So thank you for your introduction to Chiliz and Socios. And Korea is famous for having many sports fans. So I don't know whether you have any plans to launch official product or expansion in Korean market. And also, I want to know whether how you do license contract in various countries.
I'll start with the license actually in the contract. So every deal we are doing in every country or with every team is an exclusive deal. So when we work with Barcelona, Arsenal, Paris Saint-Germain, Juventus, Inter Milan, Manchester City, all of these teams, we have exclusivity in fan tokens. And sometimes we also have the rights to create special NFTs on top of that. These deals are long-term deals, which for now we have since at least 4 years for most of them. And we keep investing and promoting. We are also, for example, the official partner of the Champions League. We are the official token partner of the Champions League globally. Now, in Korea, there is two topics. There is local teams, so the local baseball team or the local esports team or the local football teams. And there is the fandom of international teams. Our first focus is actually to try to promote international teams, Barcelona, Manchester City, and Tottenham maybe one day, and any other teams that make sense in Korea. That's our priority. The second step will be to develop with local teams, hopefully their token or their product on the Chiliz chain and on socials. So we have this dual and buy, let's say, strategy, because Korea has, as you know, has a massive appetite for international and Western brands in that way, and we hope to bring them to Korea.
Yes, thank you for the answer. Because of the time constraint, we will not take any more questions.
Thank you
once again for your presentation.
Thank you.
네, 다시 한번 큰 박수 부탁드리겠습니다.